Let's talk some movers now. Goldman Sachs out with a buy rating on Apple, along with a price target of $199, implying upside of over 30% from the stock's close on Friday. The share's moving up by nearly 2% today. And this is an initiation on the stock under a new analyst, Michael Ng. And it's the first time that Goldman's recommended buying Apple in about 6 years' time. It has to do with a lot of different factors that he lays out in his note initiating coverage. But part of it has to do with the strength in services. The gross profit from services should rise to 40% by fiscal 2027.
Yes, and it's all about their ecosystem. Here's a quote from the analyst. Apple's success in premier hardware design and resulting brand loyalty has led to a growing installed base of users. And so the company can increase its number of users, reduce the number of people leaving the ecosystem, so that gets to churn and all that other good stuff. Let me go to the Wi-Fi Interactive if I could here. I have a 2-year chart of Apple. Now, I got some candlesticks up here. Basically, Apple is in a downtrend. We can see here we got lower lows, lower highs. And I guess you could kind of draw a few different lines here as to where you might expect the breakout. But so either it's happened, it hasn't happened yet, but there hasn't been a lot of momentum since we reached this upper trend line here. So let me reduce these lines. My bottom line is above the current highs, let's say 160, 165, probably need to clear that. And then we got, I would say, a pretty sure thing test of those previous highs. Whether or not we go above, going to be difficult to say. A lot of these big stocks, Apple, arguably the greatest bellwether stock, maybe throw Tesla in there too, with respect to the U.S. equities market. If these stocks are not increasing, it's going to be difficult for the entire market to come along. They don't have to lead, but they have to be showing some good technical progress. And a lot of these are just kind of stalled out after those January highs.
Yeah, I mean, Apple, the technicals obviously are important. This note obviously is more digging into the fundamentals as well, which go hand in hand. And what you were talking about the ecosystem, when you look at Apple, and which is such a powerful tool for the company, the analyst here is saying that it's sort of almost been overlooked in this current period because the market is focusing on slower product revenue growth, and that the company has durability and visibility attached to that ecosystem and the sort of the growth that can come from being in that. Another thing that the analyst points out is that valuation is actually attractive relative to Apple's historic multiple, and that's not necessarily something that you can say of a lot of big tech right now because their earnings power is sort of not as strong as it was.
Yes. You can look at the multiples for a lot of companies have crashed, some harder than others. Meta, I think, crashed the most, but it's fortunate enough to have capitalized on a short covering rally earlier in the year. With respect to Apple, big picture, I'm thinking out over the next decade. We've seen Google and Microsoft pivot to AI in a big way with ChatGPT, and I believe Google's Bard, but this is going to pervade everything, not only with respect to some of the more obvious moves that people are using it for now, like producing some interesting prose that we get to read, but also self-driving cars, autonomous vehicles. There's going to be something in here for everybody. Apple, I think the Apple Watch combined with AI and Apple focusing on health is going to be a huge winner. It's not obvious now, but the leaders in AI are being decided right now. The tech, as it is being unveiled to us in a very careful manner, I would say, with the tech out there right now, very much in its infancy and not a shadow of what is actually out there is what we're seeing.
Yeah, and Apple, recently reined in some of the ChatGPT apps on its App Store. It is not sort of as aggressively out there marketing itself as AI, but that's not unusual given what we've seen in the past with Apple product cycles. They like to be best rather than first. And they've got Siri, which actually is AI.
Well, yeah, all these digital assistants are based on AI. It's not like they're not here already.
Right.
This
it's
is just
a matter
talking
of
about the
generation.
next level.
Yeah, exactly.